Good morning, everyone. I'm here to talk to you about child-on-child abuse, bullying and exploitation, and behaviour that unfortunately I've seen at Bassingbourn. I'm really disappointed that in school we have seen some behaviours where people are treating each other unkindly and disrespectfully. And I think that we need to think about what we want our school to look like and feel like. And we need to think about how we want to see each other in the corridor and around school. We need to make Bassingbourn Village College an environment where we can feel happy and proud to be here. I believe that kindness is the most important attribute to a person as a human being. Before we make decisions around school of whether to speak, whether to act, we need to first of all, and most importantly, think about, is it kind? When we are speaking to others in person or online, we need to use respectful language and positive language. When we're reading what's on the screen in front of you, this is language that is not acceptable. Aggressive language, threatening language, sexualised language, rudeness to members of the public and people in the community. This includes when we're waiting for the bus stop, when we're speaking to students who may be younger than us or from other schools. We represent Bassingbourn Village College. Child-on-child abuse can be in many different forms, and we can see it in person, in social times, in lessons, online, on social media and on group chats. Child-on-child abuse can be bullying and hate incidents. It can be physical abuse. This includes touching other people's belongings, pulling bags, sexual violence, sexual harassment, upskirting, sexting and initiation. I want to also include here that we are not selling any sweets on the school site. This is also not allowed. Child-on-child abuse can come in many forms and between different groups of people. It can be between people that we don't normally speak to or maybe we have taken a disliking to, but it can also occur in a friendship group and in relationships as well. What can seem like a joke to one person or seem like banter to another is actually very hurtful. We need to think about how someone might feel when things are said. Sexual violence and sexual harassment can occur between two children of any age and any sex. It can also occur through a group of children sexually assaulting or harassing a single child or group of children. And as I've said before, this includes on social media as well as in person. Child-on-child abuse is never okay. It can't be excused as usual teenage banter and having a laugh. It's not acceptable. It's really stressful and distressing for the victims, and it can have an effect on their whole life and their academic attainment and whether they want to come to our school or not. Students who are LGBTQ+ and those who are perceived as LGBTQ+ can be targeted by their peers. And this is really harmful when we're saying flippant comments which people can take a lot of offence to. It's offensive. Challenging behaviours can include grabbing and dismissing or tolerating this as accepting. We're not grabbing people's bags, we're not grabbing their blazers. Children and young people can use their power to control others. I've definitely seen this, unfortunately, between older and younger years in our school. We have a responsibility to everyone in our school to make it a safe space. It's important, if this happens to you or someone else, that you report it immediately. When someone is offended or hurt from something that is said or done, this is harassment. This is not banter. It's not a joke. Think before you speak. Would it be funny if someone said the same thing to you? Put yourself in their shoes. Don't pick on someone's insecurities. That's a really low blow. Be aware whether someone is clearly not enjoying the joke. If they're not, stop. If you're around a group of people and you hear something that is offensive or wrong, don't laugh along if you're not finding it funny. You need to say something. Just brushing it off and saying it's just a joke doesn't mean it is. There's a line and don't cross it. It's not a joke if you would be upset if someone said it to you. It's not a joke if it's hurtful. It's not a joke if someone's asked you to stop. It's not a joke if the target isn't laughing. And it's not a joke if it focuses on someone's insecurities. This behaviour includes touching other students, pulling at their bags, at their blazers, at themselves, pushing in the corridor, shoving in the corridor. Toxic masculinity, a set of attitudes and ways of behaving stereotypically associated with or expected of men, regarded as having a negative impact on men and society as a whole. It's not just about behaving like a man, it involves extreme pressures boys often feel to act in a certain way, and this is really harmful. When we witness child-on-child abuse in school or online, there are two types of people. You can be a bystander, someone who is around, not involved in the bullying, in the abuse, but knows it's going on and sees what's happening. We can be an upstander, someone who helps the people being bullied. This might be by reporting it to a teacher, asking the person if they're okay after the incident, or saying that they don't think it should be happening. I see a lot of times in school when something is going on that everyone gathers. People want to go and see what's going on, but instead of helping the situation, they are making it worse. When people gather into one spot and there is someone being treated unfairly, the people who are gathering, the people who have gone to watch with their friends, the people who are trying to gather everyone around are part of the problem. This behaviour is very threatening to the people who are in the middle of the room or in the middle of the situation. They can feel really threatened by the onlookers and feel a lot of pressure of what they need to do to get out of this situation. When we are witnessing abuse or something going wrong, we need to pull each other away from the situation and go get a teacher. We're not going to gather all around, as this creates this threatening atmosphere and can escalate the situation further. We need to pull ourselves away, take our friends with us, and go to a different space. Here is a quote from Elie Wiesel, a Holocaust survivor and human rights champion. "What hurts the victim most is not the cruelty of the oppressor, but the silence of the bystander." Don't be a bystander in school. Don't be part of the problem. Don't create this threat around other people by gathering in huge crowds just to see what's going on. We need to stand up and take responsibility for the situation and walk away. So what can you do about child-on-child abuse? How can we make our school feel a safer and happier place? Be there for anyone affected by these issues. Support your friends and classmates. Whether this is someone who is being bullied, whether this is someone who feels like the situation is going to escalate and is too worried to tell a teacher, whether this is seeing an incident happening and pulling your friends away and going to find someone for help. Encourage them and help with reporting to an adult. Call out unwelcome behaviour. Don't go along with it. Report it when you see it online. There have been times when people have been discriminated against their race or their sexuality. For a long time, I have been affected by racism in school and in my general life. And what I found really hard is to be able to say something in the moment. I've never felt very prepared. Usually when I'm faced with racism, I usually freeze. What I wish I'd known is how to call out hate, what to say in the moment when someone says something that's very hurtful and offensive. So what could we say to call out hate? That offends me. I don't find it funny. I'm surprised to hear you say that. Simple questions are also a good way to interrupt everyday prejudice. What do you mean by that? Why would you say something like that? What point are you trying to make by saying like that? These questions, they place a burden on the people who made the remark. When faced with having to explain a joke or support a stereotype, people find themselves at a loss. Did you mean to say something hurtful when you said that? Using that word as a put down offends me. Using that word doesn't help others feel safe or accepted here. These are some of the things that we can say to call out prejudice, whether it's being directed specifically at you or maybe it's someone around you. Stand up for those people around you if you hear something wrong. If you think you're a victim of child-on-child abuse or you've seen child-on-child abuse, there are many people you can talk to in school. Your teachers, your mentor, the people in the hive, the achievement leaders, the safeguarding leads, and the student support workers. We are all here to listen and take you seriously. We also have an anti-bullying email address in school, which anyone can email if they do not feel like they can speak to someone in person. The student support workers and the safeguarding leads all have access to this email so they can see when it is being messaged. Once you've reported something, we will investigate it and we can support you in a number of different ways. We can email your teachers and let them know, have restorative conversations between different people, peer mentoring from our older students, and we can also arrange counselling if you need extra support. There are lots of other agencies and external sites where you can go for further advice. These include Childline, NSPCC, Mind, Talk to Frank, the NHS, the Samaritans and Barnardo's.